Hey guys, it's Sam. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, March 12th, 2009. And today we're talking about being genderqueer in our everyday life. I think a lot about gender. And by choosing and really owning that term, I think that I am not confined to any type of box. And in that way, it leaves me open to do whatever feels right for me, which is really cool. That I can do what I want to do. Like right now, my hair is like crazy messed up and I don't know what I'm doing with it, and maybe I'll go buzz it all off. But I doubt it because that makes my face look scary and I don't like seeing my actual scalp. Maybe I'll make it into more of a mohawk than what it really is. And maybe I'll dye it. Maybe I'll dye it red or purple or something. I'd look more boyish. And maybe that would help me pass if I felt like passing on certain days. And in my freedom to be able to do that, I also think, what does that mean for how people see me? Which is what I think about for a lot of things that I do. And sometimes I care what people think. A lot of times I care what people think. And other times I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do what I want. And people can read me however they read me. What do you guys think about my nose ring? P.S. Have you ever noticed my nose ring? I have a nose ring right there. And I was talking to this guy, and trans guy, though he rejects all gender in general, so it's kind of hard to talk about him, how to refer to him. I've been using male pronouns, and he thinks that me having a nose ring on the side is kind of feminine. I always thought that maybe having a hoop, not a stud, was more neutral or masculine. So I don't know. What do you think? Nose ring? No nose ring? He thought septum was more masculine. But I don't really want to poke another hole in my nose. This one hurt a lot. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to be masculine and what it means to be feminine. And I've said this before, but I really think that they're social constructs. And, whatever parts of society's definition of masculine and feminine you feel comfortable expressing, you should be able to express that and not be put into a box unless you want to be labeled as something. I think that's your choice. And so by saying, is this nose ring masculine, is this nose ring feminine, I know that I'm further strengthening the binary by saying that, but I also just want to know, because a big part of me wants to pass sometimes, and maybe confusing people is not what I want to do. Sometimes I want to look like a boy, a lot of the time. Anyway, in thinking about rejecting gender and thinking about the binary and other options out there, I made up this little game, and I thought I'd share it with you. It uses actual physical boxes, which I know is ironic, if that's the right word. I never use that word correctly. Alanis Morissette, you messed it up for me. So there's 3 boxes: bigger, littler, littlest, and they kind of represent layers of you as a person. The outside layer is your sex, your biological, physical body on the outside. The sex box, which is fun to say, sex box. Examples of that are male, female, trans male, trans female, intersexed, woman, man, girl, boy. Those are all binary, I know. Trans goes beyond it a little bit. Your physical body, what you have to work with. The next box in is this one, and that's the gender box, which I really think is also about like personality and how you feel and how you express yourself, regardless of this binary thing. So words in that box are like, again, male, female, boyish, girly, tough, weak, genderqueer, questioning your gender. There's one that says, I don't like boxes. Anyway, and then the innermost box is the sexual orientation box, because I think that's the next layer inside of you as a person. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer, questioning, pansexual, all of the above. I've been trying to figure out for a long time if it's possible to be a trans guy and still maintain a feminine personality. And I think absolutely, abso-fucking-lutely. And that confused me for a long time. And I think that this box thing really helped solidify for me that all these words can be combined in any way. And that doesn't even, I think it describes a lot of people, and there's even more people out there that this can't even describe. And I think that that's great. I just wanted to prove to myself, really, not to anyone else, just to prove to myself that all these combinations of characteristics exist in people, and you can be whatever you choose, regardless of your physical body, regardless of your mindset, regardless of your orientation. You can combine them however you want and just be who you are. You don't have to label it if you don't want to. Or you can if you want to. For me right now in my process, labeling has helped my mind really grapple with these things. So let's do a couple examples. Box number 1, the sex box. All right, female for your sex. Box number 2, your gender. This is actually funny. Genderqueer. So female and genderqueer, what could your orientation be? All the possibilities. Homosexual, there's an idea. Put them all together. Can all of this exist in one person? Female, genderqueer, homosexual. Sure, of course that exists. Let's try another one. And you can make this at home. Intersexed, girly, and heterosexual. Intersexed, girly, and hetero? Intersexed and girly, of course. Hetero, I guess, is a little confusing, but sure. If you identify as girly, maybe hetero would mean that you are attracted to boyish people. Sure. Sure that exists. Okay, let's try another one. Alright. Male for the sex. Girly for the gender. And queer. Does that work? Is there such thing as a male-bodied person with a girly gender who's queer? Hell yeah, of course. Let's try another one. Trans man who identifies as a boy who is pansexual. Does that exist? Yeah, of course. A boy who is questioning his gender, who's queer. Does that exist? Yeah. Someone who's intersex, who doesn't identify with any of the above genders, who's questioning their sexuality. Does that exist? Yeah. So basically the point of like the whole exercise for me was to try to figure out gender, because as a genderqueer person, I think about these things all the time and my brain wants to explode. I think that you can be whoever you want to be and whatever you're comfortable being. I just met a trans guy who acts really effeminate, and he said that he really wanted a male baseline, and then from there he could express himself however he was comfortable, which happens to be society terms feminine or effeminate. And he identifies, I think, as queer. I think that's really cool, and I'm really sad that I was hung up for a long time on having to be manly if you're a trans guy, because of course you can be manly if you're a trans guy, of course, but you don't have to be. And I think that that was a really big thing for me. So being genderqueer, confusing. All right. Hope that this was fun for you guys. I hope that maybe it made you think a little differently. It definitely changed my mindset, thank God. You'd think that someone who's genderqueer would have thought about these things a little deeper, but for some reason I just was always hung up on this trans masculinity thing. So anyway, it's a beautiful day in Berkeley. I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.